key indicator for economy, upon which monetary policy will be decided and also the fiscal policy. It is also the indicator of consumer sentiment, also shows the growth of economy, or let's say the production of the economy. Therefore, inflation is key to any of the economic activity. What is inflation? Inflation is nothing but persistent rise in the prices of goods and services for a given period of time. And everybody talks of inflation, even at the global level or at the local level, because if there is an inflation, consumer will not be having that much of money to buy certain things. At the same time, deflation is bad in the point of view of producers. However, there should be a balance. That's why there will be monetary policy check or tools by RBI to contain inflation. Now, in this article, the article states that even though India's inflation is falling and it is 2.1% in June 2025, that doesn't give the clear picture for the simple reason, out of the CPI, that is the consumer price index, which is taken as the headline, or let's say the right indicator to understand the inflation of India, right? And it is calculated by CSO under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So in this article, they state that whenever we come and look at the headline inflation, which includes food and energy, food and beverages, which is highly volatile, and looking at that picture, that scenario, just because they hold around 46% of the weightage, we should not come to the direct conclusion the whole of inflation is under control, because consumers or people purchase so many things apart from food. In CPI, there is 46% weightage for food. It doesn't mean that, see, when you look at the household consumption or expenditure, food includes only 30%, and remaining 70% of the items, let's say for personal care, health, education and other stuffs, that includes the larger part. But when it comes to the headline inflation, that includes very small amount of portion. Hence, what the article is trying to say, the inflation's data what we read is skewed. It is not proper. It is vague, ambiguous. Hence, there needs to be changes done to the inflation data to realize the real picture. And also there is a 2011-12 which is considered to be the base year for inflation calculation, that has to be changed, so that there should be an advancement, or with practically, when we see the real picture in near terms, the base year has to be shifted. That is what it is trying to say. The article says that 2.1% in June, which primarily includes food inflation. And also we must understand it is due to the season, good monsoon, good production, good harvest, food and vegetables price down, and now the inflation is down. But at the same time, people are also looking for education, stationery, personal care, which are like 4.4% in June, highest in 15 months. Healthcare, and that is also was 15-month high in June. Health is most important thing. Then the personal care, which is 14.8% rise, or let's say it is in the double digit for consecutively in past 8 months. So these things are skewed when we see only the headline inflation. And expenditure survey show that only food includes 30% of the expenditure and remaining 70% to other aspects. So there needs to be a reform in the inflation calculation procedure and data. Only then the real picture can be found out. Only upon which RBI can also come up with more practical, scientific and logical and more pragmatic approach of containing the inflation. Otherwise, we will be in the skewed picture. It states, even if the inflation is under control, it doesn't mean actually we are under control. There are other expenditure which are getting dearer and dearer. But at the same time, we must also see inflation is not just because of the cost push, also because of the demand pull. Sometimes when you have more money, you will start spending more. Then there can be a price push. That can be one of the scenarios for the rise of education, health and other aspects, because you are spending less for the food. The more amount can be spent for the other aspects. Therefore, this inflation or this kind of inflation must also be understood, which is not explained in this article. But apart from this article, this thing has to be known to us. Otherwise, we will only be understanding what the article is trying to say. I hope with there are reformatory measures which are going on. Soon there may be a reformatory measure to more understand in most practical and most advanced way, by understanding this inflation in more multi-dimensional way, rather than focusing on the weightage for the food alone. Hope this discussion was useful. Thank you. Signing off, Shreyank Esranade. Namaste.